Mr. President, my name is Gavin Walsh and I'm from Ireland. I've spent the past 14 years examining and researching and investigating a tragic plane crash from 1952. It was an Irish airplane, an Aer Lingus plane that crashed in North Wales in Great Britain. The name of the plane was the St. Kevin, and on board were two Americans and a Canadian, and one of the Americans was of substantial importance to the atomic program. His name was William Arthur Lynch, and he had been involved in both the Manhattan Project and the further development of the hydrogen bomb. In fact, I highly suspect he was on some kind of a secret mission to the French government at the time he was killed in this tragic plane crash. In the wake of his death, rumours started to circulate as to a Russian hoax. Bear in mind, you were 5 years of age at the time, so the Red Ruskies got the blame in that instance too. If in doubt, blame the Russians. But of course, this turned out not to be true. Though he probably would have been a value target, he was most certainly not killed. And he, at a very young age, had joined the atomic program and worked directly under Oppenheimer at the start of it. And then he was being seconded out to different places with a secret identity, in some cases a false passport. And I have ample evidence of all of this. In fact, his brother, at only 19 years of age, Ed Lynch, also joined the Manhattan Project and was commended so at the end of the war for bringing the war to a speedy conclusion, was personally commended by Oppenheimer. All of this has been detailed in a trilogy of books I've spent the 14 years doing called Shamrock 165. And here's where you hopefully come in. I do appreciate the chances of you seeing this video are probably 1 billion to 1, but you know, anything's worth a try. You're actually my penultimate chance at getting this story, the truth, told. And before I say it to you, I would like to point out that the families do not want retribution or revenge. They don't even want to cast blame. It was a tragic accident. They just want the truth told. They want it known that their loved ones, the two Americans, have been forever left in a lonely mountaintop or scattered in North Wales. This was done at the time to cover up the true cause of the crash. And the covering up was done by both British and Irish governments. Now, these are not conspiracy theories. I've spent 3 books detailing them, and not one air crash investigator in Britain or in Ireland has challenged my findings. Not one. And they won't. And furthermore, only last month, I was pretty much guaranteed to never get on the national airwaves in Ireland with my story because it's too sensitive and people don't want to upset the past. The sad reality is that these people have never been properly honoured. The truth has never come out except for in my books. And now that I'm at the 11th hour and 59th minute with the books, I'm being caroused or censored, for want of a better word. I'm sure you know all about that word yourself. So what I ask of you is this. Again, in the slim chance you see this, all I ask is that you would ask somebody in the NTSB. I understand there's over 400 air crash investigators at the NTSB. All I want is 5 minutes with one of them, any one of them, 5 minutes. And we can do it on a phone call, or I can get to Washington, D.C. in a heartbeat. I can get to the NTSB offices. And I would like to point out on a technical point that the United States should have had an NTSB investigator at that crash under the 1951 rules at the time, and indeed under today's rules they would, because the airplane was built in the United States. It was a Dakota DC-3. The engines were also built in the United States, as were the blades and the wingtip blades. And of course, given the fact that the two passengers were from the United States, would also have guaranteed the NTSB a seat. But the NTSB got no seat at this investigation. So you can pretty much see where I'm going with this story. Now, I'd like to reference something you touched upon. You yourself have credited God with having got elected. Well, I have never said these words before. I've had something powerful with me for the last 14 years. And there is nothing I'm not given that I don't need at the time, but I only get it as I need it. So let's hope you can have somebody from the NTSB speak to me, and let's see if I've spent 14 years telling lies and making things up. And okay, thank you for your time, Mr. President. Appreciate it.